Hi everyone, I'm really pleased to welcome Diane Greenwood to today's Clean Conscience Convo. I've been following Diane and her partner in crime, Louise Treherne, for quite some time now. I think it's at least 3 or 4 years I've quietly lurking in the shadows. And I've had the privilege of seeing you guys firsthand at your depth of commitment to the cleaning industry. So yeah, you guys have been trailblazing. And it's worth mentioning that I first met you guys in person finally at your awards evening last year, which was a banger. And I came away genuinely amazed at the massive impact that you're having on the industry, how many cleaning businesses across the UK are part of your network, at the commitment that you give to them, their expertise, all of it. It was mind-bending for me and my team. We still talk about it. But what really stands out for me is how seriously you and Louise take raising standards in our industry, and that it's not in a theoretical way, but it's in a very practical, hands-on way that actually makes running a cleaning business more sustainable and more human. For every cleaning business that I mentor, I am pointing them in your direction, because why reinvent the wheel when you have so brilliantly invented it? It's my pleasure to welcome you today, Diane. Sorry, Joanne is my number 2. Diane. And just to say, Louise would have been here, but she's had an emergency that she's had to attend to. So Diane, you said it's just you, but just you is a powerhouse. So welcome. Great to have you.
Honestly, thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, and I know that you're committed to a lot of what we believe in as well. So it's brilliant to be here having this chat with you today. So obviously, it's great to be here.
Well, I've got some questions for you, Diane, and I always like to start with, how did you get into this malarkey in the first place? So you've both built your own strong, well-developed cleaning businesses, and you now, DCBN is one of the leading influential networks in the UK for domestic cleaning businesses. But how did you start it, and why did you start it, and what makes the pair of you still continue to commit to it?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's probably, lots of questions in one there. But the DCBN really started because we just kept having the same conversations with other cleaning business owners. And, it was people working really hard, doing a brilliant job, but just feeling stuck, overwhelmed, underpaid, and not having anyone to help that seemed to really understand them. And because we run cleaning businesses ourselves, as you just mentioned, we felt like we totally get it. We've been there. We've had the long days, the staffing issues, the am I charging enough worries, all of it. And we just thought, it doesn't have to be this hard on your own. And we both now genuinely wish the DCBN had existed when we started. And if I look back to when I started my cleaning business, there was a couple of online forums, but to be honest, it was mostly carpet cleaners. And there was nobody that I could reach out to that understood what I was going through, what it took to build and run a cleaning business. So to be in a position now where we can help others is amazing. And our big why when we started was it was all about raising standards in the industry, and it's developed from there. And really now it's about giving business owners the support, training and community that will help them build really great businesses, which obviously automatically raises standards. But we also want them to build really good, profitable, sustainable businesses that don't make them burn out, because we see that too much.
100%. I've never asked you and Louise this, but how did the two of you get connected?
Well, I was actually helped set up a trade association. I was part of this, is going back many, many years, probably to around 2012. And Louise attended a training session from a recruiter. And both Louise and I have a recruitment background, and we were singularly unimpressed, I have to say, by this person that was training us, because she came from a very corporate background and was talking about recruitment, but it wasn't recruitment as we knew it. It wasn't recruitment on the ground. And as I said, both Louise and I have a recruitment background, so we understood the corporate recruitment model, and we knew already at that stage that our cleaning businesses didn't fit that model. And so Louise and I connected, and when I left the other trade association, because it just wasn't moving forward in the way that I envisaged it would, in terms of really supporting cleaning business owners rather than just being a trade association that in name. And yeah, and Louise then contacted me and went, "Oh, do you want to do that?" And I was like, "No." That was my first answer. And then, yeah, then it kind of evolved from there. And there were other people involved at the beginning of when we launched the new thing with the DCBN in 2019. But eventually it was Louise and I that wanted to carry it forward. We had the passion for changing the industry, shall we say, from within.
Well, thank goodness for that, because yeah, your treasures within the industry. One of the things that I know you and Louise talk about a lot is mindset as the foundation for success in a cleaning business. So it'd be really great to hear what you think a professional mindset looks like for a cleaning business owner. And how does it differ from just getting the job done, which is often where I encounter some of the people I mentor to start with?
Yeah, I think that's really right, Antoinette. A professional mindset for me is when you stop thinking, I just need to get through today, and start thinking, I'm building a business and I have a plan I'm following to make that happen. So it's things like having standards, pricing confidently, communication, having boundaries, even when it feels a little bit uncomfortable to have boundaries. Yeah, getting the job done is important. The cleaning is really important. Of course it is. But professionalism is what makes it consistent and sustainable, especially when you're growing a team. So, yeah, I mean, I've done more cleaning than I knew existed in the years that I've been in this industry. But I've also been very clear that despite going out and cleaning toilets for a living, nothing wrong with that, I'm building a business. And I was always really clear on that from the beginning. And I think that's where the professional mindset has always come in for me. And what I now train others is to have that professionalism around everything that you do on a daily basis.
So important. I mean, my background was PE teaching and I fell into the cleaning industry. It was always just going to be a side hustle, just me. But I think because as a PE teacher, everything is about systems, processes and safety, I naturally started, I wasn't calling it a business back then, my side hustle that way. But it did mean that at the point where I realized, oh, this is a thing now and I need to kind of strap this down, because of the way I'd been going about things. It was more about formalizing in writing what I was doing so that others could follow, rather than, oh, now I've got to completely change the way I operate. So I like what you said about, it's almost start with the end in mind, which is one of those popular business speak comments. But, you know, we have to turn it professional if it's going to have longevity. And getting the right mindset from the get-go, even if you only ever have 10 clients or 2 clients, it's all the same. So yeah, I value that.
And when I'm coaching, and the first session, in fact, even actually before I start coaching somebody, the first question I always ask people is, what's the big plan?
Ooh.
Where do you want to take this? You know, because that threads everything you do every day. And the big plan might be to be a successful solo cleaner, making decent money for, making a living. Or it might be that you want to build a huge business. It doesn't really matter what the plan is. You just need to have it and be working towards it.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that leads quite nicely into my next question, because so many people fall into the industry like me rather than plan for it. And so as you're asking these questions of people, I know for me, I really struggle to see myself as a business person or a business owner. And so for ages, I was just in denial, like, oh, no. I'm just cleaning houses. I'm not a business. I'm not a business owner. How do you help people bridge that mindset?
I think that's actually one of the most common things that I hear, people feeling, I'm just a cleaner. And what it does is it makes them scared to charge properly, and also makes them feel like they have to do everything themselves because nobody will do it like them. So I see this, I'm just a cleaner, and then an element of needing to control everything and also not having the leadership skills perhaps, or the confidence to train other people to do the work. And I see the shift usually starts when they start to realize, whether that's through DCBN membership, our community, or just having a one-to-one with me, is it's a skilled service and they are allowed to run it like a business.
Yeah.
And it's almost that permission that cleaning can be an amazing business. No matter what your structure is, it's giving yourself permission almost to run it like a business. And obviously at the DCBN, we help them with lots of practical stuff as well, knowing the numbers, setting standards, but all these steps are building their confidence, and that switches that mindset around. And I've been around so many cleaning business owners, but having myself and Louise, two very experienced ones, we're trained to help people make a difference, or to help make a difference. But actually realizing that, when they tap into the DCBN network, for instance, they realize they're not the only one dealing with these things. So as well as getting all the ideas and knowledge and support to move forward, they're tapping into that community as well. And that can really shift the mindset as well. But the biggest barrier is definitely what you said right at the beginning: I'm just a cleaner.
And it's funny, isn't it? It took coaching for me to realize, like, I've got to get rid of that narrative now. We are beyond this. And actually, is anyone ever just a cleaner? So from the moment you're taking money to clean someone's home, you are a business owner of some sort.
Absolutely.
And you've got to get your head around that. And the sooner the better, really. So you've been key in setting professional and ethical standards for the domestic cleaning sector. I definitely wish I'd signed in with you guys way earlier in my cleaning career. My business probably would have looked exponentially different now. How do a positive mindset and professionalism work together when it comes to raising industry standards? I think you've touched on it a bit.
Yeah, and I think that if you don't believe you're a professional, you don't act like one.
Yeah.
So things like, clients paying late, allowing clients to have unrealistic expectations of what you can do in the time that they've paid for, or maybe you avoid putting proper things into place, or if you're building a team and you're not acting as the professional because you don't believe you are one, you will accept either poor performance or poor behavior from team members. But if you can shift your mindset to, I run a professional business, somehow you more naturally will start doing things properly, whether that's having insurance, creating and following policies and procedures, working safely, because that's a key thing in our industry that is missing, that we really address very clearly a lot. Having clear terms and conditions in place, and also if you are bringing on a team, having proper training practices as well, rather than just, well, they'll just watch me and it'll all suddenly, happen really easily. Because, this is how standards rise in our industry. And right now it might be one business at a time, but it spreads. And that's what we hope we do as the DCBN. And that's our aim, is to help raise those standards and make everybody see that professionalism is the way forward for all of us.
So needed. A little plug here for you run so many courses, discussions, webinars, seminars. But one of the things that I've invested in the last year is sending my number 2, my COO, on your Train the Trainer course. And she loved it so much. She said, we need to send the person responsible for doing our site checks out as well. And she has come back and she is raving about it all. So it doesn't have to just be you as a business owner that engages. You could also be thinking about, how can your team engage with the work and the advice of the DCBN, because the more we can get this mindset, not just sitting with the founder, but with the people that make decisions within your team, then the stronger your business is and the stronger the industry becomes, I think. Sorry, I started proselytizing there, but I'm so in awe of what you guys offer. I think more people need to hear about it.
Fantastic. And the Trainer course is unique, absolutely unique. Louise delivers it, and she is brilliant at really getting into the processes and also the systems that people need in place to train people, but also just understanding how people learn. And there's been so many sort of light bulb moments that I've seen from business owners where they've gone, oh yeah, I've been expecting them to listen to me speak for an hour and then or maybe I'll show them for 10 minutes and then I expect them to clean the whole room and remember exactly what I said. And she just turns it all around, doesn't she? And I know that your lady that came along to the first one. I was there on that course, Jo, and yeah, she's so experienced, isn't she? But I think she had a few light bulb moments too.
100%. So yeah, fabulous. Every day's a school day. We're never too old to learn. So I want to touch a bit on networking, because you've created one of the largest networks in the UK domestic cleaning scene. And that is a fact, everyone. If you're listening, like, you need to plug in. It'd be good to understand how many members you've got, how many people you think are actively engaging in that, but also what are the benefits? Like, what is happening for cleaning business owners when they get to connect and share experiences and support each other through groups like the DCBN?
I think, do you know what number one is? I think they stop feeling alone.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely huge. It really is, because I think that so many cleaning business owners, and probably people generally, especially with the advent of social media, think that everyone else has it figured out, and that they're the only ones struggling with clients, staffing, pricing, their own self-confidence. And then they join with the DCBN and realize it's kind of normal to feel overwhelmed sometimes. You know, and our wider network is 40,000 strong, you know.
40,000, did you hear that?
Yeah.
This is the
I
place
wish we
to
had 40,000 members, but, you know, we have 40,000 in our network that we support and help, but they help each other. You know, it's a massive community out there in the cleaning industry. And yeah, our membership is obviously smaller than that. But, you know, our membership get access to one-to-one, each other, which is amazing, because they're getting access to a group of cleaning business owners that are committed to investing in themselves and their businesses and to doing things the right way, whether as solo cleaners or those building teams. And when they join the DCBN properly, as not just our wider network, they get access to, well, first of all, one-to-one mentoring from myself and Louise. And I've got a new member at the moment that is basically booking in every Monday afternoon. So he's basically getting coaching for his £30 a month every week at the moment. It's what he needs, and it's absolutely fine. We've set aside the time to do that. Wow. They also get hundreds of hours of training in the video library. I mentioned cleaning safely. We created the cleaning safely course. After COVID, we got a consultant in to share with us how people could get back to work safely after COVID. And we've now adapted that course and you know, put everything that we learned then into the course, which members get straight away. Things like the 0 to 50K course, which will take people from either startup or solo stroke small business to being able to grow. And we have masterminds, masterclasses, and they just learn so much faster. They make better decisions, and I just see the confidence growing, which is the best thing for me as part of, you know, that's part of my why of the DCBN, is to see the transformations that people are having.
It's an absolute bargain of a membership, an absolute bargain. And that's without templates and all the other things, that resources that you can always find online as well. Cleaning can be relentless. It's a tough old job. It's a tough old business to have. I've often heard it said that it's easy to start a cleaning business, but very hard to keep one going. How do you personally stay motivated and grounded? And what advice would you give to other owners who are flaming out there?
I suppose for me, obviously, you know, for me, it's two-sided, because I've got the DCBN and I still have my cleaning business as well. Yeah. And I suppose I stay motivated by really believing in what I'm doing, whether that's knowing I'm helping others in the DCBN, and actually this applies to both, building something really important for the future of the industry. I know when I first started my cleaning business, way back in 2008, I wrote this down as my vision and my mission, that I wanted to build a business that I was proud to own and that other people would be proud to work for. And I still believe in that now, 18 years as it is now later. And so that's still important for me for my cleaning business. But of course, the DCBN adds another part to that, doesn't it? Because now it's kind of like, I want the whole industry to be more successful. I want the people in it to love what they do every day. And I want cleaning business owners to get the reward for their hard work and the risks that they take compared to somebody staying in an employed role, shall we say. And for me personally, I also, and I do this every January for our members as well, and I do this quarterly myself, is I set clear goals for the year. I've always got a big fat hairy goal for the year. That's what I like to call it. It's not me that made that phrase up, but I love it.
Yeah.
And then I plan every quarter how I'm going to move towards that goal. And you know, I'm saying quarterly, every week I set some rocks in my diary, 2 or 3 things that I'm going to do that are going to move me forward. And I need to really get excited about that big goal, because that keeps me motivated day to day. And if I look back to when I first started my business, my cleaning business, my big goal was to have a house in France. I didn't have a clue how I was going to make it happen when I first decided that was my goal. I almost felt like I was just making it up. But I put a picture on the wall of my office, and I kept looking at that picture every day on the bad days, and that kept me motivated. And I'm now obviously speaking to you from my house in France. It worked. It happened. There was a lot of hard work. I wasn't lucky, but yes. I made a decision that that's what I wanted, and I pushed myself to achieve it. And that's what, you know, keeps me motivated now, even now, is to be moving towards those goals. And yeah, it's important, because it's really easy to get burnt out in this industry, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's really strengthening for me, Diane, because I'm wrestling with one of my mentees at the moment who's in the middle of a fire. And like, well, I hear that there's fires, there's always going to be fires. Well, actually, there doesn't always need to be fires, but we need to goal set. We need to really vision cast, because in the middle of the fires, you need to understand why you keep getting up to go and hose them down until your business levels out. So yeah. Good to hear you.
I actually really love, and again, it's quite an old analogy. I love the rock, pebbles, sand analogy, which is the rocks that go into my diary. They go into my diary first. Yeah. Those are the important things that are moving my business towards its big goal. These pebbles that need to go in there as well, they'll go around the rocks. They're the day-to-day things, like the scheduling, maybe sending out social media posts. And then the sand is sort of answering emails and just the general stuff. But, you know, the analogy is that if you fill the glass with sand and pebbles first, the rocks won't fit in. So you always put the rocks in the diary first, and everything else can just fit around those, because the rocks are the most important things.
100%. We're coming towards the end. I've got 2 more questions. So one is a bit of like vision casting, really. You've made such an impact, but what's next? What are your hopes for the future of the domestic cleaning industry in the UK? And is there a way that others can get involved in what you're building?
Yeah, I think my hopes and vision and clear goal for the industry is that everybody in it and everybody outside it sees it as truly professional. No more saying that we're just cleaners. You know, we need to be charging properly. We need to treat our workers, our teams fairly, with good working conditions, working safely, and with great clients, because the demand for our services is only going to grow. You know, it's just a natural thing that's happening, generational shifts, and it's going to continue. So I want to see the industry really step up and to understand its place, and also to step up and be more professional. And for the DCBN, you know, we're going to continue to build on what we do with our training, our mentoring, and all the resources to help people grow that confidence. We're also going to do a bit of campaigning. We're campaigning at the moment around SSP and trying to get some support for small businesses to manage this big change. And we're creating a survival pack for our members that will be coming out soon. And we're just going to keep pushing those professional and ethical standards. But we also want to celebrate our industry, because it's amazing. And you mentioned the awards, and we run them every 2 years now rather than every year, purely because we want to make it a big event every time we run them. So this year we'll be running another big party. It's 2 years, would you believe, in November since the last one. So we will be doing that again. So that's a way of inspiring, I suppose, the industry, and also getting some publicity for some of the great businesses that are in it. So in terms of people getting involved, well, obviously tap into our network. You know, it's huge. But also, you know, if you really are committed to investing in your business and yourself, then look at our membership, because it's very inexpensive. I guarantee you will get value for money. And who knows, you could be one of the businesses that wins an award in November as well.
100%. It's the best bit of money we have spent in a long time. So I cannot endorse it highly enough. Thank you very much. I've got one last question, and it's from TJ Amas, who is the co-founder of DocFlight. We're just onboarding with them at the moment, so that's quite exciting. So his question to you, Diane, is that he has this regular debate with himself. And here it is. Would you rather run a business with 10,000 small clients or 100 large clients if the turnover and profit stayed the same amount of money, 10,000 small or 100 large clients?
Oh, that's a really interesting question, because that feeds into the principle of, eggs in one basket, doesn't it? And, spreading risk, However, 10,000 clients would be a huge undertaking. And I'm not sure that I would want that large a responsibility. And that's a lot of relationships to manage. Yeah. So I think I'd go with the 100 clients, especially as the profit's the same. So I would almost be crazy not to choose the 100 clients if they're going to bring me in the same income as 10,000 clients. Yeah, absolutely. I'd go with a smaller business, more profitable. And actually that feeds in as well to when I talk to solo cleaners and they say to me, I can't charge that much. And I'll go, well, okay, if you don't charge that much, you have to work 30 hours a week. But if you charge what I recommend, you only have to work 22 hours per week. Which would you prefer? And they always go for the 22 hours per week.
Amazing. Actually, I do have a tangent question, because it's the question of our industry in all of the discussion forums that I'm in, trying to convince each other that our prices need to be better. Can you put a finger in the air and say, this should be the average charge of cleaning in the UK for domestic clients? Where would you land it?
Do you know, Louise and I get so much flack whenever we talk about pricing, because you'd be surprised how many people would say to us, you're wrong. Yeah. You can't charge that much. Yeah. You're ripping people off, and it's disgraceful what the cleaning industry is charging. And I'm just like, it's disgraceful that it doesn't charge more, because you've got people that are serving clients, and I don't have any problem with my clients having lovely holidays. Please don't misunderstand this. But I might be speaking to a cleaner who's charging £18 an hour, and they're saying to me, my clients cancel because they're going away to the Maldives for 6 weeks. And I've not got any income. What shall I do? And I'll say, you need to charge more so that you've got some money to put aside, or you need to fill in those slots. But they don't feel like they deserve to have that time off. And I do believe that if you can't charge enough so that you can have at least 5.6 weeks off a year, fully paid, just like an employee would have, then you're not charging enough. And if I'm going to set a figure on it right now, then I would probably say that the industry should be charging minimum £25 an hour.
Preach it. I agree. I agree. And just for anyone that's listening here that may be a potential client for cleaning industry, that does not mean that you're getting a gold-topped cleaning business where somebody's going to deep clean your home every time. That is for a basic cleaning service that should be excellent, but that is what your cleaning colleague or your cleaning employee or your cleaning person needs to thrive in the industry. And that for that price, you will be getting a professional individual that is equipped for the long term to deliver you the service that you need to enable you and your family to thrive.
Absolutely. And for them to survive and thrive too.
Exactly. Diane, you've been brilliant. I could talk to you all day. Every time I get hold of you online, I leave with my mind spinning in a positive way. Thank you so much to you and Louise for all that you do for the industry, for the offerings that you make that are reasonable and practical to the rest of us. This has been a joy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honestly, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure as always.
And enjoy the French wherever you are. Yeah, have a great time.